This is the Toyota Supra 3.0 V6 Premium, and I have to say, we're gonna find out if this can be an everyday car or a road trip friendly car. This is the Supra. A Supra has been out for over 40 years. The first one came out in 1979, and this one kind of has a little throwback going back to the older style bubble look, as you can tell, which I'm a huge fan of. It's still a small, very compact two-seater sports car, which I love. Now, my big question about the Supra was I want to find out if this was a road trip friendly type car. And the main thing that did catch my eye compared to other sports cars is there's a big trunk back here. I can easily fit a huge suitcase or two suitcases if I wanted into the rear of the Supra. The thing gets about 24 to 30 miles per gallon. I was averaging around 26 to 28 miles per gallon as long as I stayed out of sport mode. Now, when you do hit sport mode, you're pulling about 18 miles per gallon, which isn't that bad. I've seen worse in a Rolls Royce. So about Rolls Royces though, this car is pretty funny. The chime inside has the exact same sound as the Rolls Royce does. So I had realized BMW owns Rolls-Royce and BMW also owns Toyota, and this thing, you would be surprised. You pop that front trunk and there might be a couple parts with BMW logos, as some of my fans said on Instagram, and I did find that. The thing is just gorgeous. I love the silver color on it. Now, getting into the inside during road trips, I drove this thing for about a good couple hours on the freeway, and I have to say, being leather seats, super comfortable seats. I've had way bad experiences with some leather seats in some luxury vehicles, but whatever material Toyota used did really nice. Very comfortable. The thing is squeezing against my side to keep me in position, which I'm a huge fan of. It was a little awkward at first getting into it. I've never driven a Supra in my past. I've driven other vehicles. Now, comparing to the Aston Martin is a way bigger vehicle, as we know of. It was a little more roomier, and I was expecting that in the Supra because on the outside it does look pretty big. In the inside, it's a little tight in here, but again, it's not meant to be a road trip car, I don't believe, but at the same time, I wanted to give that a test, and I did. And I have to say, it was successful. I would probably score it around 8 out of 10. So under the hood, this is a 3.0 liter 6-cylinder 24 valve twin turbo. Let me read this again. Twin scroll turbo. This thing is packed. At first, driving in the regular mode, it was impressive. But you kick in sport mode, the exhaust is beautiful. Here's a little sample of that exhaust. So I can't get over that exhaust. This thing has 382 horses inside, so plenty of horses inside this thing. I want to say it's got 368 pounds of torque. I don't know exactly. I believe it's about around there. I love the motor. It does really well. When you're in normal mode, this thing has its stop and start engine for the engine. So that's why the numbers are efficient depending on what mode you're in. I've had a really good experience. I want to say I've gone about 200 miles and it's at a half tank. So you could probably pull about 400 miles as long as you stay out of sport mode. Now, if you're in sport mode here and there, you probably could pull around 320 miles on a tank. I don't know exactly how many miles the EPA is on this thing, but from my experience, as long as I was staying out of sport mode, it was really efficient and it was still exhilarating. So up front in the Supra, you've got your little sensors, your parking sensors. They're in the front and back. So inside you'll see like a 360 radar type system, which is really nice. Now radar, well, these are sensors, not radar, but right here you do have radar for that stop and go and highway assist, driving down the highway. Toyota did really nice on their controls for your cruise control. If you push down, I believe, or You hit that set button, it immediately goes to the speed limit, which I'm a huge fan of. They did really nice on that. The stop and go feature on the freeway, very smooth. The brakes on this thing, very quiet, very relaxing compared to other vehicles I've seen. It's very jittery, or it's jumpy, or it reacts too early. Toyota did really well adding that into this thing. So in the rear of the vehicle, you've got your sensors, all parking sensors all around. You've also got some beautiful stainless steel looking exhaust in the rear, 2 pipes coming out. This thing is gorgeous in the rear. At first I was a little confused where the reverse light is, but then I realized it's right here. I was wondering if this was a brake light also. You know, it's like a Formula One type design. Since this car, it comes from a track design. So I was thinking it would be that, but no, this is the reverse light. Pretty interesting reverse light, definitely neat, a little different, stands out for sure, with the beautiful Supra logo in the back. At first, I didn't realize, I was wondering where that Supra logo was, and I'm curious if Toyota will change this up a little bit like Kia did with their Stinger and remove that Toyota logo. Oh, I almost fell there. Remove that Toyota logo and put the Supra logo there instead. I personally would like that. When I see a Toyota logo, what's the first car you think of? A Camry. But in this case, now the first thing I think of is a Supra, if that logo is right here. This car catches a lot of people's attentions. Going through a drive-through, everyone wants to know what this car is, and they've never seen it in person. I've never seen this Supra, the new one, in person either, so driving it is definitely an experience. Getting up close and personal with this thing has 19-inch forged aluminum 10-spoke wheels, which are beautiful. I believe these are Michelin wheels. I'm not sure which model they are, but still they ride really nicely. This thing's got some Brembo 4-piston brakes right here, as you can see with the Supra logo. Super beautiful. It's that bright red, pops out with that silver color. So in the rear in this thing, you also have red calipers, which is really nice. Now, something I didn't realize is this thing has rear wheel drive launch control, which I would love to try, but I think I need Toyota's permission to do that. It's also got double joint type McPherson struts. I don't know how to say that properly. The front struts are tower mounted chassis braces, and the thing is also sport calibrated with electronic power steering, which is really nice. I love that power steering on this thing. Also has adaptive variable sport suspension. Can't see that suspension, but I'll tell you, this thing rides really smoothly on bumpy roads. Looking up close, this thing has 6 lenses. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're auto leveling LED headlights. The daytime running lights are really nice on this thing. It also has automatic high beams, which is really nice at night. But wow, I still can't get over how many lenses are in this headlight. Now inside, no moonroof in this thing or sunroof or anything. I wonder if that's an option. I don't think it is. Beautiful racing seats, as you can see, fully adjustable, ventilated neck area. I wish this part was adjustable from what I'm aware of. It isn't. I couldn't adjust mine on the driver's side. I don't know if the passenger side could either, so you can't adjust these. Now, this is the best part. This right here is yay big. It's probably 5 inches, 4. And then the mirror is so small. I promise you. I wish I had something to show you, but it's small. Let me show you. This is a water bottle. It is smaller than the water bottle. This is almost as big as the water bottle. So let me just tell you, this thing is a little pointless because, I don't know, to me it was a little pointless. You also can't move it. It's stuck in one place, so you can't move it over here, even though it would cut off a lot of your vision. So this thing is not adjustable. It's got a little light right here. Now the carbon fiber, really nice. Carbon fiber. Carbon fiber everywhere. I wish it was everywhere. Like, I wish it was there. I wish it was on the doors. It'd be really cool right here, even though that gloss is still pretty right here. Carbon fiber here. Definitely would have been, I would say, a benefit if that was there. After driving this for a few days, I highly recommend driving this car. Super beautiful. Actually, let's take it for a drive though. Now, driving around town in this thing is really comfortable. The ride is very smooth for a very small, lightweight vehicle, but that suspension comes in and does its job very well. So now up front in the vehicle, I have a heads-up display, which I really love. You can adjust it, make it lower, higher, you can tilt it left or right. The only thing you can't do, I wish you could do, is move it to the right or left. It seems to the left a little too much for me, but again, it might be how I am seated. It's very comfortable. Little bumps like that, super smooth, very relaxing. Now turning on this thing is surprisingly really nice. It takes a little bit to get used to, but if I want to make a U-turn right here, not that hard. I have plenty of room. The steering does very well accomplishing that. Now inside you have a clutch control. As you can see, I can go to first, second, third gear, or paddle shifters, whatever everyone wants to call them these days. Super smooth. It does once in a while, if you do manually hit it, you can take over, but if you're not in the right gear, it is going to go back to automatic. Now if you want it to stay in control, you'll shift this over to the left and go to manual, and then if you want, you can click that back in, it's back to automatic. It's not really manual, again, it's with the paddle shifters, but it does very well. So you do have a touchscreen up here for your entertainment and everything. On this one, really cool is you have wireless CarPlay, which I'm a huge fan of. Super nice. I wish lots of vehicles would have that. Now listen to that exhaust. That exhaust is beautiful. You don't want to wake up the neighbors in this one, but you will. Now we're only going the speed limit still, and it sounds really nice. We're only going 26 and 25 miles an hour zone. Right here in the lower left and up top in that heads-up display, you do have your speed controls, which I'm a huge fan of. You can see your speed limit and everything. Now in the cluster, in the right side, it seems very empty. I don't know why there isn't anything there. I'm not sure what's supposed to go there. So on the left, you got your miles per hour, you've got your RPMs in the middle, your gears, and then on the lower right, you've got all your options for miles per gallon and miles on a tank. Then on the right and left, you've got your fuel tank and then your temperature. But there's this big empty rectangle. I'm not sure what goes there. I'll have to look into that and see for myself. Now let's jump on the highway. On the highway, like I said, this thing has every safety feature inside. It's got all the safety features you could want. If someone pulls out in front of you, it's got emergency braking and everything, which is really nice. Now also on the freeway, it has its own lane keeping assist. I don't know exactly what they call it. Everyone calls it different. It does really well. I have to say it is very picky on how you drive. When I'm driving down, I just, you make a little turn, you kind of slide with the road, and it does not like that. It like pushes you to the right, and sometimes I think it responds a little too early, but again, that can be adjusted in the safety features probably, so who knows. So this thing is very talkative on the road. Even if you're going 35 miles an hour, 45, or even 25, the exhaust purrs. So inside, there is a lot of buttons. Back to that display though, I'm not a huge fan of where they put that display. I wish it was further down in my, working area, I would say, for all your controls. It seems a little too high. It's kind of in your point of view. If it was a little lower and it could also do the radio and it can also do the AC and everything, that would be a lot nicer. There is a whole row up here of radio controls. There's a whole row for the AC, and then down here you have even more controls just for the radio, which I love is you don't have to touch it. It's like a BMW. You can use your hand and adjust everything right here. But again, there's like 8 buttons above this thing, which I can't see. Again, when I'm driving, it shouldn't be a problem. I wish I just tap it right there and wouldn't have an issue with that. Hopefully maybe in the next generation, they'll do a full digital cluster, or not digital cluster, but a full digital control center, I would say, like Ferrari or Lamborghini have done in their vehicles. But again, different brand. So this thing has a 12 speaker JBL with an amplifier in the back with 2 giant speakers behind me, which are stock. When I saw that, I was just stunned by that. I showed some friends and they were like, okay, that's worth the purchase. And I believe that comes in the premium package in this vehicle, which isn't that much. It definitely goes for a couple grand. All right, so that premium package is $1,200, which comes with all the safety features, which I would recommend getting that. Total price with the 3.0 premium GR comes out to about $56,000. Would I say this is a $56,000 car? Very difficult. I personally wouldn't put $56,000. I would price it around $42,000. Then I would probably purchase this type of vehicle. 56 is very high in that price point. There's other options around that price point, even lower and higher, very equivalent to this vehicle. As you can see, just slowing down to a red light, this thing purrs. So now, road noise inside the Supra is a little louder than most vehicles. I'm not sure if there was supposed to be some sort of acoustic hearing inside this thing or not. Definitely something I wish it did have. If it does, might need some improvements. Definitely a little noisy in the inside, but again, most sports cars are. I've never had such a really quiet sports car in the inside. Maybe I have, but we're talking $100,000. There's a reason why it's that quiet. But in this case, it's just regular noise. But again, it's not really that bothering because you hear the motor more than the road noise most of the time. So it isn't that big of a deal. But I just thought I'd point that out if you're picky with things like that. I'm not crazy about it, so it doesn't really bother me in this case. But again, on the highway, on the freeway, super nice. Now, is it a freeway vehicle to be driving? I think so. It does really well as long as you're paying attention, you're going the speed limit. It does really well as a daily cruiser. Currently, I'm in cruise control with the stop and go. So right now it will slow down, it will speed up on its own if there's a vehicle in front of me. It also has your blind spot, which I'm a huge fan of. I love that they put that in this thing. Definitely highly recommend that. I wish every car would have that. But Toyota did that in the sports car, which is really nice. I can't really think of what other safety features they have in here, but the adaptive suspension, that's just a regular thing. But again, it rides nicely on the highway. Now, would I drive it for a 4-hour trip? That's a tough question. I would drive it for 2. I know that. Done it before. Will I drive for 4? I don't know. I would have to try it for myself. But again, that's if you got the miles per gallon for it. We've gone 240 miles on this thing already. I got 130 miles left on the tank. We're about a quarter tank, which isn't that bad. I would say that's pretty well. I want to say thank you, Toyota, for letting me check out this beautiful masterpiece of yours.